Welcome back to some late night episode of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I suppose what I should do actually is when it's late night like this and we're being quiet, I will turn up my microphone so hopefully you can hear me at least a little better. Maybe I turn down the in-game volume as well, I don't know. But yes, it's quite late and that is of my own fault, to be honest, because I was going to record, but then I ended up reading this webcomic called Everything is Fine, and I've got to be honest, it had me completely hooked from the beginning. So, good evening everyone. Right now, I'm here with a late night broadcast. Hope I can make it through this. Right now on Fawnhallow, it's 1:09 AM on what should be Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I literally just finished the last current page of Everything is Fine, which is the end of season 3, I suppose. And I scrolled through the comments and I'm very happy to see that season 4 is starting this month, June 29th. And I'm just like, oh my god. Oh, it is. I don't know how else to picture it except for it's basically like a dystopian it's a dystopian thriller, maybe, where everyone is wearing a cat head, essentially. Maybe like thriller mysteries are the best way to put it. And I will say it is pretty brutal, not in visual presentation, but more like in story. I would say don't get too attached to anyone. And that's basically all I'll say with that. I want to talk about it more, but I'm like still processing it myself. But what this does remind me of, it reminds me of a different comic series I read, called, was it like In the Forest Where No One Can Hear or something? In the Forest Where Nobody Can Hear. Comic? Oh, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. It's got that same sort of vibe, and I don't know what it is about me reading animal like comics about death and murder, I would say, in one way or another. But oh man, do I think it's the best thing ever? No, I don't know if it's got the best writing I've ever seen, but I will say it does absolute wonders at keeping you engaged throughout the entire thing. Like, every single part made me just be like, I want to see what the next part is. I mean, how can I even talk about this? I guess I'll talk about it maybe tomorrow, more so than today or something, I don't know, but oh my god. Like, I found it by complete chance. I was watching a different video, which was called, like, Why Anime is So Weird, from a YouTuber whose name I can't remember, but I was like, this is like really interesting. And then I saw this in the recommended, where it was like, this cutesy cat comic shocked me, and I was like, weird. And then I saw like the first few minutes of this video, and I was like, okay, I need to read this comic because it seems very, very interesting to me. So I guess how I picture to you is like, it's very dystopian. It's full of betrayal and distrust, and it's high tension and love through tragedy, I suppose, is how I describe it. There's a lot of questions I have surrounding it, and I don't know if a lot of it makes sense. A lot of it does feel, if I take a step back and look at it, it does feel sort of like a bit convenient, I think, how some of the plot lines up. But my god, was it tense from start to finish? Yes. And sometimes that's kind of what I want, just high drama or whatever. And it's honestly been a while since I found like a webcomic or something in that ilk which really like hooked me, you know? Something where I was like, I have to keep reading it. I don't know what the last one was. I mean, maybe Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Can See or Nobody Can Hear, whatever it's called. But at the same time, that was very short. There's only like a couple of volumes to that. This one was still pretty short. It was like about 90 pages or so. But I don't know. If anything, it kind of inspires me in a way where I'm just like, I want to now write like my own webcomic or something. Similar. Something along the same sort of, not the same sort of lines, but my own sort of story I want to tell. Like a one-shot story, disconnected from everything. I don't know how it's going to end. I certainly hope it sticks a landing, or even if it doesn't stick a landing from a narrative sense, I hope it keeps up the tension all the way through. And I would say I'm not usually like a huge fan of... actually, no, I kind of am. In a weird way. I think I don't really seek out media properties which are known for like being thrillers or tension, but they are my favourite flavour of like horror movies, is what I'd say, you know. Like I often say, Hereditary is probably my favourite horror movie. But I also loved Us and Get Out, like, a lot. It took me a really long time to watch Get Out as well. It was a sort of thing where, I don't remember when I watched it, but a friend watched it ages ago, and he was like, you dear darling would absolutely love Get Out. And then I just never watched it until, I think it was like a sleepover or something, and then we watched it, and I was like, you're absolutely right, I loved Get Out. But yeah, there's something about a thriller. There's something about wanting to keep continuously turn the page, which I think is something that really epitomises thrillers more than any, right? Like, they're kind of built around this idea of keeping things tense, having a dramatic sort of unknown that keeps you on your edge of your seats and keeps you wanting to see more. That's kind of what's been going on, I suppose. I don't know, I'm still sort of like thinking about it in a way. But yeah, anything which is a real page turner, keeps you engaged, I think is something that I do deeply appreciate. So credit to the thriller genre for doing that. Which is interesting, because now I'm thinking back to that book quiz I took a while back, which you can do it yourself, it's called Read a Colour, but essentially it sort of says what sort of genres you would find most engaging, and I don't think it said that I found thrillers like I found it like averagely engaging. More so, I found emotional philosophical things more engaging. But I don't know, I think this is exception. You know, I need to read more about this, like, immediately. TV tropes, everything is fine. There must be... Yeah, I was going to say, there must be some sort of TV tropes page about it. This is one of my favourite things I love doing, is reading a TV tropes page after I finish consuming something. You know what? This person, do you have, like, a blue sky or something? I've got to know. Because I absolutely need to follow you on whatever you have going on. Mike Birchall. I spelled that very wrong. You're on Instagram. There's even people talking about it on Reddit. I can't believe I've never heard of this before, as well, by the way. Normally at least I hear like passing things about these popular stories here and there. Anyway, follow this guy. Oh, he's on Threads, not on Blue Sky. Oh, you have a link tree? Hold on. We're going down the treasure trove of things to see. Director's commentary, Patreon. Oh, merch. I can see myself picking some of this stuff up. Like, it really, really won me over. So quickly. I think the premise is interesting. And the execution of the premise is very engaging in its own right. Which is why. And I do want to be clear, I don't think it's like an absolute masterpiece, but I do think it is very good at doing what it needs to do, which is evoking emotion. And sometimes that's what it's needed. I don't know, maybe it is pretty good. I kind of need to like sort of take a step back and reevaluate the entire story. All I can say to vouch for is something which was an absolute page turner for me. I'm trying to think what else has been a page turner in the past. That's a very good question. I mean, I hate to say it, but yes, Harry Potter was as well, but we don't talk about that, like Bruno, anymore. Well, I suppose you can talk about the literature piece on its own. There's probably been others. I think Beastars was actually quite a good one as well, because I think that, again, I think I'm just a sucker for a good premise, you know, and good premise and decent enough execution and characterization. That's all I need. Do I need a deep, rich, lore-filled world? No. I just need a simple enough premise which I can get on board with basically immediately. And I need characters who I can see distinct personality traits in. And then I just need fine enough writing. And that ends up being like a 10 out of 10 for me in one way or another. I don't know, what's been a real page turner for me? Sort of book-wise. I think it's hard for me to say because I haven't actually read like huge amounts of books or anything. Or maybe like a what's the sort of next episode sort of thing. I mean, Squid Game did pretty good. Did pretty well at that for me. But that was like we had watch parties or anything, so if anything it was sort of meted out exactly when or where we'd watch things. Arcane? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it seems silly to say, but some of the recent gacha game plots have been like that. Fontaine Story Quest and Genshin, absolute page turner. Honkai Star Rail, entirety of Amphorius' plot, absolute page turner. And that's what we kind of like, what we kind of adore, you know? I think a measure of how much I appreciate something is basically how long it sticks in my mind afterwards. How much do I think about it? How much of it is like, yes, I continuously need to think about this. I come up with theories, I come up with ideas, I come up with its X, Y, Z, you know? And that's what defines it to me. I might get some of this merch as well. I like this everything is fine tote bag. That's my perfect level of minimalism for me. And that allows me to embrace something I like without being so over the top. I also didn't know Webtoon even had a thing. Webtoon even had like a store. All of us are dead? I didn't know this was on Webtoon initially. I should read more of these Webtoon things. There's another Webtoon I really liked. I can't remember though. I think there's some small things I really liked, like was it Mantis and Cicada? That was a really fun one. I don't think that's ongoing anymore. There's another Webtoon story I like, but I cannot recall it. Oh well. I didn't know Tower of God was on Webtoon. And look at that. Everything is fine, it's actually on here. It's almost shocking that I've not heard of this before. Yeah, anyway, this is probably going to be quite a short episode today, so you'll have to forgive me for that. So I might just round this off, but I don't know, thrilling page turner, I guess that's what it's all about. And that's why I didn't record any other episodes today. Whoops. So, in any case, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Social Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.